anyone that, man, super loud. Okay, so we have a gigantic team this year, which is really great. I'm happy to see so many faces and know that even with 2 years, quote unquote, off, that the team's not down to just a few students. So really fantastic work to our veteran students on engaging people, and great work to our rookies for doing their best to stay through things, especially our second year team members, because the last year before getting back to in-person stuff was rough. So, but because of that, I want to really start at some beginning level stuff before we jump into some of our team goals and team objectives. I think it would be pretty easy to, if I just open up the question now of like, what's our goal? Like people would be like, oh, we want to win the world championship or something really grand, or without putting a whole lot of thought into what does that mean? What are our resources and things like that? So I want to start with just reviewing some things about how things work for us. So I want to start with talking about advancement, both within a competition and from competition to competition. I'm going to go through these things pretty quickly. So just as a reminder, we do have a presentation, and I know that we've got a video of it somewhere. I'm just not sure where yet of, let's see, let me pull this over. So Isabella and Ryan made this really awesome competition slide deck where they have like a 20-30 minute round robin thing where they go through things. And so we can find that video, make sure it's on YouTube, and link it later if anybody wants to go through it. But for now, I'm going to quickly go through a couple of things. So one, when we are at a competition, the way that the competition works is there's qualification matches and then playoffs. We play a certain number of matches, hopefully, 8, 9, 10, 12, something like that, up to maybe about 12 or so. And within every match, we get some ranking points, and our ranking points determine our final ranking order. And so we're going to go to a district event that has somewhere between 24 and 40 teams, most of the time, probably around 30. And we are going to get ranked somewhere in there between 1 and however many teams there are, the 32 or something. And then after those matches happen, after those qualification matches happen, we have alliance selections. And so the way that alliance selections work is you start at number 1, you're ranked number 1, and they pick their first partner. And so if number 1 picks number 2, now number 3 comes up and becomes the alliance 2 captain. And so that goes on through for 8 captains, and then the 8th alliance captain ends up picking 2 people in a row, and then it goes back up to the first alliance. And so you end up with 8 alliances, each with 3 teams. Your number 1 team gets to pick basically first, and then the 24th best team according to their data, or if they pick the 24th team to make the playoff. And so at a competition, 24 teams make it to the playoffs. You play quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals at the district level with your alliance. And then you have your winners there. Also at a competition, even at the district competitions, there's a bunch of awards that are available to be given out. So we'll review those in a little bit as well. So that's the district level competition. We typically are trying to win an award there. We're trying to rank high. We're trying to make it far into the playoffs, things like that. That is how we have been functioning in the past. We have 2 of those district events. And at each of those events, you get something, but there's a ranking point that determines your qualification, your rank after the qualification matches. But you also get district points based on your rank, where you get selected for playoffs, and the awards and some other things. And so those district points get added together from the 2 district events and qualify you for the district championship. In a traditional year, when you go to the district championship, the same thing happens. And those district championship points are worth 3 times as much as your 2 district ones, or as an individual district one, and get added together to determine who qualifies for the world championship. So that is a very fast speed run. Rookies, I do not expect you to have that memorized, but hopefully just kind of a gut feel of at a competition, there's things that happen that determine the rank. And then you go into playoffs and you have a winner from the playoffs at the district event. And how you do at those 2 district events qualify you for the district champs, and how you perform as those 3 things get together qualifies you to the world champs. Any high level questions about any of that? I don't want to get into specifics too much, but yeah. So regionals are a totally separate thing that we don't have to worry about anymore. There are regional events, but if you're just asking, like the district events are only going to be other teams from Texas, or there's 6 teams from New Mexico that are in our district. So there's like 200, or there was about 200 teams in First in Texas, and First in Texas, for reasons, has the 6 existing New Mexico teams. So we will only face against them in the district and district championship. Brian? So that resets every year. And so even though we were district champs in both 2019 and 2020 and 2021, we are the district champs chairmen. That does not qualify us for world champs this year. The way that it does work, though, is that if we win chairmen's at district champs this year, it does automatically qualify us for world champs. So that's a good clarification. There are some awards that automatically advance either the whole team or part of the team to the next level. Chairman's advances the whole team. So if we win chairman's at a district event, it qualifies the whole team for the district championship. So the only weird one there is that if you win engineering inspiration at the district event, you get to compete for engineering inspiration at the district championship, but I can't remember if that, I don't think it qualifies the whole team for it. Also, Dean's List, if we have one of our students win Dean's List award, just that student gets to compete at the next level. So yeah, hopefully that clarifies it. I hope I'm not lying, because I am recording it, and so somebody will tell me if I need to go back and look at the rule book of if engineering inspiration qualifies the whole team, or if you just get to compete for EI at the district camps. Any other questions? Did you have one? There is a individual award, Dean's List, and so we get to nominate one sophomore or junior, or I'm sorry, a total of 2 sophomores or juniors. Don't worry about that right now. That's a whole separate process that mentors write an essay for 2 individuals on our team. So, okay. Anything else about typical advancements, playoffs, anything like that? More or less the same. No worries, no differences that we need to be concerned with right now.
First says that teams may qualify for the first championship, games like 1 of 3 awards, regional chairman, engineering inspiration award.
Yeah, so the district champs EI qualifies for world champs. I'm not sure if the district EI qualifies the whole team for district champs EI, or for district champs. So, okay, so I will go ahead and move on. I do want to pull up the awards list. We're not going to go through every award super thoroughly, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware of them. Oh, and actually, I will share screen for our folks at home. Okay, so I need to probably figure out how to make this bigger. Is that good and legible for everybody? Is it too small? Oh, that's way too small. I don't know why it didn't. Okay. Is that good? Okay. All right. So these are some award deadlines here. I'm trying to figure out if this has all the awards or not. Yeah, okay. So there's Chairman's Award. Let's see, does this go into details? Yeah. I don't want to go full speed ahead right now. All right, so there's some Machine Creativity and Innovation Awards that they've got grouped here together. Autonomous Award, Creativity Award, Excellence in Engineering Award, Industrial Design Award, Innovation and Control Award, and Quality Award. We have some Team Attribute Awards, Engineering Inspiration, Entrepreneurship Award, Gracious Professionalism, Imagery Award, Judges Award, Rookie All-Star Award, Rookie Inspiration Award, and Team Spirit Award. Obviously, we are ineligible for the 2 rookie awards. Can you guys hear me okay when I'm speaking this way? Okay. Submitted awards, Chairman's Award, Digital Animation Award, Dean's List Award, Safety Animation Award, and Woody Flowers Finalist Award. Robot Performance Award are the finalists, highest rookie seed, and winner. And then other awards, Founders Award, Volunteer of the Year Award. Oh, here we go. Here's all awards. This is the way that we should look at it. So I want to pull up specifically the description. I know I'm going to be biasing things here a little bit, but that's just going to be the way that it is. I apologize a little. at least. All right, so the Chairman's Award. Give me the description here. All right. The Chairman's Award is the most prestigious award at FIRST. It honors the team that best represents a model for other teams to emulate and best embodies the mission of FIRST. It is created to keep the central focus of FIRST robotics competition on the ultimate goal of transforming the culture in ways that will inspire greater levels of respect and honor for science and technology, as well as encouraging more of today's youth to become science and technology leaders. And then if we look at the Engineering Award, or Engineering Inspiration Award, hopefully, celebrates outstanding success in advancing respect and appreciation for engineering within a team, school, or organization and community. And we can see that there's the descriptions here for Entrepreneurship Award. That was the one that we have to put together business plan. Gracious Professionalism celebrates outstanding demonstration of FIRST core values. Imagery Award celebrates attractiveness in engineering. Judges Award, the judging panel may decide a team's unique efforts, performance, or dynamics meet recognition. We'll skip the Rookie Awards. Team Spirit celebrates extraordinary enthusiasm. So I'm going to anticipate that our veteran students are already familiar with the awards as a whole. Our rookie students, you know, I would recommend taking some time to look through these and kind of familiarize yourself with them. And we can go through those a little bit further in detail if anybody has awards about them. One thing that I do want to point out is that not all awards are created equal in terms of district advancement. So we already mentioned that the Chairman's Award or Engineering Inspiration Award gives you extra or qualifies you. And actually, I may be wrong on that now that I'm thinking about it. The Chairman's Award and Engineering Inspiration Award, you get additional district points for. And so for the Chairman's Award, you get 10 district points, as opposed to any of the other non-culture changing awards, you get 5 points for. And something else to keep in mind there is that there is a safety award, and that award is judged by a different group of people. So it is possible to get the safety award and something else. However, it is very unlikely to impossible to get, say, the Spirit Award and the Autonomous Award. So if we want to maximize the number of district points that we can get, it would be winning the Chairman's Award, Safety Award, and being ranked 1 and winning a district event. You know what, they may have. It's been so long, everything's been wonky. They may not have the Safety Award, that's right. Or it may be judged by the same group. I don't know, something did change about that and I don't recall what it is right now. So there is there was, I guess I didn't even see it in the list of all awards here, right? That would be a good way to double check. Nope, there's a Safety Animation Award. So you guys can ignore anything I said about the Safety Award. It's been too long. Any other questions about the awards and what awards are out there? Okay. This is maybe getting a little bit too in-depth, so I won't spend real long on it, but I also want to point out we only get district points from the first 2 events that we go to and from a time perspective. So if we go to 3 district events, it's only the first 2 district events that we go to. And even if we sign up for like week 3 and 5 first, and then we later on get added to week 1 and 3 will be the district events that count. Week 5, we don't get any points for. We can still go compete. We can try to win a blue banner and that will count. I mean, we'll still get the blue banner for it. We can try to win the Chairman's Award or Engineering Inspiration Award. I believe those would still count as well. We just don't get district points for it at that point. So we would have to have already qualified for the district champs by the time our third district event happens, I feel. Okay, any questions on any of that stuff about advancement or anything like that, awards? Okay. Next, I'm going to kind of just tell y'all a couple of things about the Pearadox program mission or objectives of why it is that people like Kara and I and Laura, why we spend our time I'm here with y'all. So there's really about 4 main things that all come together. And so we want to obviously have a safe and inclusive work environment. Safe and inclusive, with safe meaning both, I don't want anyone cutting off any fingers or hurting their eyes, but also I want y'all to feel safe as individuals to be able to, come up to a mentor and get help or ask for advice, whether it's about designing or if it's just about life stuff in general. So I want you all to feel safe coming to us with issues that you may see on the team, issues that you're dealing with, getting a teacher or an adult support. And I want you all to feel safe around each other too. I fully expect that we don't have anyone bullying anyone else on the team or putting anyone else down. You guys should really be uplifting each other. The whole team's going to be better if we're supporting each other. We are not competing with ourselves so much as students individual. We are competing with ourselves to be better each year and better than the other teams out there. So I don't want y'all feeling like you're competing with each other necessarily for anything on the team or support from mentors or anything like that. We're going to try to do our best to make sure everybody has a good thing there. That was a long time, but a safe, inclusive work environment for our team. We obviously want to be sustainable as a team. We want students 10 years from now that are in Pearland ISD to get the same or better experience than what you all get on Pearadox. And we want to develop our students into better people, better engineers, or whatever career it is that you go into. I hope that from your experience that you get on Pearadox, that you leave the program better than you were when you came in, maybe a little bit more mature, maybe more knowledgeable, all those types of things. And then we want to impact our local community and beyond. So I know I'm speaking for myself for sure, and I imagine Laura and Kara would say similar things, that as much as I enjoy mentoring you all, I'm not mentoring you all just to only have an impact with 50 or 60 of you on the room. You guys I'm hoping to impact a larger community through you all as well. So I'm hoping that I am teaching y'all and helping you be able to go out into the community and spread knowledge about STEM and inspiration, even if it's not a STEM career or anything like that. I'm hoping you all can also go out in our community and inspire people further. And all of those things really end up working together, right? So if we are going out into our local community and having an impact in our community or beyond, and if we are doing a good job of developing y'all into better people, and we have a safe and inclusive work environment, that leads to us being a sustainable program year in and year out. When we go out and do community, that helps us get corporate sponsors, that helps us get new mentors. It helps make sure that the school district is proud of us and continues to support us doing things like a robotics room renovation, things like that. So I know that's kind of a long spiel about some of our program goals and objectives, but I wanted to make sure before we talk about our team goals going into this year, that you keep that in mind. So I'm going to maybe real quick just copy and paste that into our Word document over there, just so that if y'all are more visual, you can remember that. So anybody have any questions or anything they want to add about anything with that? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is this is where I'll start, we have a conversation about it. Before we start talking about our team goals and objectives, we need to start thinking about what are the resources that either we do or don't have. And so they might be resources that we are, flush with, and, we are in a really good position compared to your average team or most teams or whatever. And then there's going to be some resources where oh, you know what, this is going to be a tough year for us in this capacity. And then there's some where it's this is okay. We can probably get by with what we have. It's not going to be a limiting factor, but we do want to be aware that this isn't, something we have unlimited of, or, whatever. It could become a limiting factor in something. So I would like to start with maybe just listing out what are some of our resources, and we'll kind of go and I'll try to sort this as I go. And then we're going to go through and put them into categories of, I need to think of a better term than rich, poor, and okay. But essentially that's what we'll be trying to sort them into. So if anybody has a good suggestion on that when we get to it. Okay, I like those. I like abundant, critical, and I think scarce or critical. I don't know. Those are kind of the same to me. We need something that's in between, but we'll worry about that. We've got maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes before we get to that. But all right. So let's start with some resources. And if we need to, I can give some examples of things to get things going, but I'm confident that some of our veterans can get us going. Yeah, so let's break down people a little bit. So what kind of people do we have on the team? Joan? Students and mentors? Yes, that is, I think, a great breakdown there. All right, so let's talk about students as a resource. What are some ways that we might define our students as resources? Because I think that in some capacities, we could say, oh, resource-wise for students, we're really great. But you could also break it down in other ways and say, oh, maybe that's a critical. So what kind of ideas do y'all have about how we would define that? Yes, I get what you're saying from, not going to write that one down. I'll come back to it though, because I think it fits under another category. Go ahead. Somebody else had something? Go ahead. Yeah, so I don't want to categorize the students further. I'm sorry, I should clarify. I'm not trying to break them students down further necessarily. I'm trying to break down how students are a resource. And maybe I have a certain thing in mind that I can't give you guys a hint for what it is that I'm trying to get to. Peter? Okay, yeah, so maybe I'll just, hi. Okay. Yeah, so these are all ways that we are trying to use our students. I think I have a specific thing in mind. I apologize. I was hoping I could try to get y'all there. Yeah, so let's break it down. I'm sorry, I've got a specific thing in mind. So I'm just going to put down number of students, all right? So let's break this down, because this is, I think, where y'all were kind of hinting at. So with a large number of students, that's where we can work things in parallel, right? So that's where we have students for doing outreach. That's where we have programmers and things like that. So the number of students can be ability to split up tasks. And so that can be things like having students work on things that make us sustainable, such as media, outreach, fundraising. That's not fundraising. Things like that, but also having different students work on different parts of the robot. So that's your programmers, fab, design, base, intake, whatever, all those types of different things, right? So, because I think if we, let's skip ahead a little bit on something right now. Do you think that we have a large number of students where we can split up tasks? Probably. We have a huge number of students. So that is a abundant resource to us. But when it comes down to students with FRC experience, is that abundant or is that somewhere that's not abundant? I would say that's a little bit less than abundant. So let's fix, where's my experience? Okay, and so I think mentors are going to have a similar type of thing, right? So with FRC experience, and then instead of number, I think it's more important, rather than the straight up number, I'm thinking that it's more the student to mentor ratio that is important. Would you all agree with that? Or do you think there's another way to categorize that? Okay. And so also when we come down to with FRC experience, I'm just going to add in a couple of things here, because this is in a world of different things, right? Like competition, experience, strategy, scouting, drive team, etc. And actually, yeah, we could even, I should break this up this way and say like, you know, what to pack, how to load, unload, etc. And then we can also say designing / building, yeah, building for robot maintenance and awards, judge, speaking, aptitude to work safely. So there's a lot of things with experience to keep in mind there, yeah? Anything anyone thinks I'm missing in here that I should add? Okay. What other kind of resources do we have after people? Yeah, all right, so am I back to, okay. I'll just say, I'll call that money. All right, so what ways is money a resource? Or like if we try to break this down into category or things where we could put it as abundant, critical, or other, what kind of things can you guys think of? Yeah, money, I'll just say money to buy things. So fasteners, parts, raw materials, etc. Okay, we can't buy people. Although we can buy thank yous for our thank yous for sponsors. Ty?
I think under money to buy things.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. So let's see. How would you say that again?
Ability to buy different parts to work with, something like that.
How about, yeah, ability to buy things for prototypes. I should spell buy correctly in this context though. Because yeah, we might have money to buy things for the competition robot, but only the competition robot. Or maybe we've got it to buy things to prototype. Go ahead, Coda. Yeah, district, or I'll say event registration. Because we might be able to register for our district events and build a robot and then not be able to afford district champs or world champs. Joan. Yep. So we've put together magazines to hand out. Obviously, we need money to buy banners for our chairman's speeches, things like that we typically spend. Sam? Yeah, travel, food. Okay. Lance? Okay, good. Brian? Okay, we're probably, let's see. Do we have anything else that anyone needs to, or feels like we need to add? I'm also going to say ability to buy on demand versus through some other system. So y'all probably don't know this, and this is really just because I'm recording it, so it's something for other teams to keep in mind. We are fortunate we have our own nonprofit, so I can buy things and I can get reimbursed as quick as I put together my reimbursement requests and invoices and all that. Some teams out there, they only have money that they can spend through the school district. And so they got to ask the one like purchaser in the school district to do their purchases. Then it gets delivered to the school and then it eventually gets to the team. And so there are teams out there that, you know, they buy things week 1 and they don't get it till week 3 or 4. And some of y'all with FTC teams may have experienced something like that as well, where it takes a long time to get things. But because we have a nonprofit, we can buy it on demand, have it in a couple of days, as quick as we want to pay overnight shipping and availability of stock and things like that. And then I'll add this kind of under outreach as well, if I can ever find my mouse. There it is. Okay. Along with outreach, we do spend money to support or to help other teams in need of support. And we're fortunate to be able to do that, but it also helps out our team to help the other teams. When we're at competition and if a teams need batteries or something like that to be able to, you know, make it with matches with us, obviously we will help them out however we can there. Okay. Yeah, I will have this document available. If I don't put it in Slack, please remind me to. Okay, so beyond money, I think we've talked plenty about money. What else? What other kind of resources do y'all have, Ty? Yes, so that is a great one. I'm going to categorize that as space. And then so we've got shop space, field space. What else? Yeah. So cafeteria and teaching, theater. I heard something else somewhere. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say like general learning space.
I'm gonna just say AKA build assemble space. Yeah. Okay. Anything else to add to that? Yeah, I'll say that kind of goes under shop space. I'm going to say that that's shop space. Oh yeah, chairman's room. I'm going to say quote unquote quiet area because obviously when we're doing a bunch of drilling or machining or anything like that, it can be difficult for chairmen to do their practicing if they have to be in the same room as us. Okay. Storage, yes, that's a great storage parts space. And let's actually even break that down a little bit more. So when we've got storage and parts or tools or whatever, this might be the same thing with the students where I have a specific thing in my head that I want somebody to pull out. So yes, thank you. So I'm glad Ty could read my mind there. But when it comes to our storage and parts, when we look at our resources, organization is definitely a weak spot for us right now. We're working on it, but the ability to be able to know where something is and go get it quickly is a huge part of being able to be effective with our team or with a thing. Like, okay, you sure? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to do this under a new tab here. And we'll say, I'll put this as resources already in shop. So things that we don't have to go buy, things that we just already have. So tools, Ty? Do you have something you'd want to add? Okay. Good. Anything else that you wanted to add, Dania? That probably gets into a little bit more of where we would categorize of critical or abundant, but yeah, absolutely. Good thought to capture. Any other thoughts? Okay. So resources already in shop. So we got tools like Max said. What other kind of things? Kate? Old robots. How is that a good resource? All right, so I have old robots. It's something to test early, program early, learn from early. Sam? Yep. Okay, done. Yeah, emergency parts, I'm gonna say. Okay. Wait. You just want demos underneath outreach? I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. Okay. I think that's what was meant, but yeah, I'll add /demos. Okay. So beyond older robots, what are some other resources already in shop to keep in mind? Right. Yeah, machines. I'll say, whoops, oh no, page down. Okay. Okay. Sam? Yep, raw materials. Yeah, I'll even, for our new students that are less familiar here, we'll say, polycarb, metal, wood, hex shafts, etc. Okay. What else? Brian? Motors and COTS parts. Okay. And for anyone that doesn't know, COTS is commercial off the shelf. Dania? Yeah, so we do have, I'll say storage, I'll say available, storage bins. Okay, Blake? Yeah, so I think that fits under COTS parts there. Sam? Fasteners. Good. Ryan? What's that? Oh, first aid equipment. Yeah, that's important. Okay, so we're probably getting we're just starting to list stuff. So yeah, I think that goes under tools. But I'm going to break down the tools a little bit further here, because if we wanted to think about, critical or abundant or whatever, one of these things for tools is to match the number of working groups, right? Because yeah, we have, I don't know, certain number of drills and a certain number of jigsaws, but sometimes we have like 10 groups all working at once that suddenly all need a drill at once. And then we're limited by that as a capacity. Even though we have that as a tool, we need more of them. Go ahead. Yeah, so I think that, no, I guess we don't have outreach in here. I'll add, outreach things. Okay. And so, yeah, also under tools, I think that's things like our 3D printers and printer, CNC router, mill, lathe. Yeah, Ty's trying to get me to rant, which Allen wrenches are like the easiest way to get me to rant to somebody. Go ahead, Brian. Yes, absolutely. So if we, laptops, and I'll say school issued or team owned. So we only have about 5 team laptops, which is, workable, but if everybody needs one, that gets tough. Hopefully you all know that your school issued laptops, if you have a school issued one, works great for Onshape. If you're able to install software on it, I don't know if you can put VS Code on it. That should run fine there. Sam? Yeah, I think that we'll fit that under COTS parts. I think that can fit under COTS parts. Okay, so I think we've talked a lot about resources that we already have in the shop. Okay, so let's move on to a new category. Sam? Yes, so time is an important resource for sure. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of break it down first as like ability to meet as needed. So for some of that, it's fitting in your schedule. It's having our teachers be available and making sure we're not wearing them out and following a schedule. So that's an important thing there. What other kind of things for time might y'all add? Kate? That's a good thing. I'll talk about that afterwards, because I think we've got a plan to make that or make things work mostly normal. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. Next. Yeah, so I'll just say that as like, what's that? Well, so I think what Max is kind of getting at is like tasks or defined tasks. So people come in and know what to work on, right? Not designed, designate, or I don't know. I can't think of what word I'm thinking of there, but defined, that's the word I was thinking of, defined tasks. Go ahead, Brian. Yeah, so that can get tricky because like we have 2 mills, but sometimes we only want to use the 1 mill. So having a queue line and knowing priority of work. Yeah, so that's important, Sam. Okay, so prototyping time, Sam, other Sam, Peter. Yeah, so, and that goes on. Basically, our time spent cleaning up saves us time later because tools will be where we expect it to be. So spending some time to clean up saves us time later. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm also going to kind of get in here with time management. So this is something we are not super great about yet. So we always are building until competition time, basically. And I would really like us this year, I have some goals in mind that I would like to see that we can talk about for time management. It's not ideal. It would be great to have the robot functioning, you know. Right. Peter? That's true. It would be good if we had a functioning robot before our first match even, you know, so. I hear someone, okay. All right, so I think that's really, like, time as a whole is a really important resource. Okay, any other kinds of things that we want to add here? Hopefully that's not a resource we need to utilize. So I'm going to add parents. So every bot, mentors, meal distribution, field building assistants, logistics, chaperones. Peter? Yeah, absolutely. That's I'll just say slash alumni. Okay. Brian? Connection, oh, like networking? That is a great one to add. So questionable sometimes, for sure. I think it used to be better than Discord, and I'm not sure on that now. Joan? I missed that last part you said. Yeah, so yeah. It's also, I'm feeling a little triggered right now with about buses and bus drivers. So I'll just say logistics planning. All right, we have definitely spent some time on this, but before we move on too much, I do want to pull up, Brian brought up a great one with networking. And so just as a general rule of thumb here, like being able to network with teams in our area is a huge thing, right? So like our networking with, say, Spectrum or Robonauts, they can help us manufacture some things that maybe we can't do in-house, because Spectrum has a laser, Robonauts have a water jet. Sometimes it's hard to find parts, something will be out of stock, and Spectrum or Robonauts will have them from 8 years ago or something like that, and we can use, that's not even an exaggeration, like that's definitely a real thing. Because you think about how many wheels we have, and if suddenly like Annie Market parts wheels were out of stock, I'd say any local teams that need them, please take them from us. We'll be fine. Zion. So definitely that falls under, we should get corporate sponsors. I want to get a laser. We need to figure out ventilation for it, but that's a separate issue. So, so going along with networking too, one of my networking things is work. Oh, I'm sorry, we've got chats. I'm sorry, I haven't been looking very closely at the chatting list here. So I apologize, y'all. Yeah, I'll have to come back and look at some of that in a little bit. But just as a rule of, I thought one of my mentor friends, Katie Wyden, put this together, and I thought that this is pretty good and a good thing to think about. So if we kind of break things into some big general categories here, we can say, like, if we need time and we have money, we can go out and buy a thing to do it, right? Or if we need time and we have equipment, maybe we can hack it together in some way and make it work, etc. But definitely the networking is a important thing. So if we need networking and we have time, we can prototype a bunch of things and maybe get some support from someone, or utilizing customer support for COTS parts or whatever. But networking is definitely, it may seem simple that like everyone is just asked for help regardless of what it is, but networking is just a really a key thing to do. And we are fortunate that we are fairly well networked within our Houston community. Some of that is because when we're at competitions, we're going out trying to help, and we've done well at events. And some of it is from individuals on the team trying to go out and make those connections to those different teams and things like that too. So I think that this is a good thing to go back and look at some point when we start looking like, okay, what are we what do we have abundant resources of, what's a critical resource, things like that. So I'm going to do our best to have us move on here real quick. And we've got a lot of really good details in here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller and generalize it a little bit, or maybe I can try to do this. Nope. There we go. And can I do, let's make a new one and pull this over here. All right, so let's start with what are our, let's see, we have critical, abundant, and what do we want in between? Anybody? Moderate's fine. I think that'll be fine. Thank you, Dania, for the excellent suggestion. All right. Well, and so I'm going to generalize some of these things a little bit more. So I'm thinking we're mostly taking the like high level aspect of it. Some things, if we need to break it down, and it's like not everything in here is abundant, some things in it are critical, we'll just pull out that individual thing. Does that make sense? Yeah, time is always, okay, so let's start at the beginning here. It's a very good place to start. All right, when it comes to people, is that wholly critical, moderate, abundant, or do we need to break it down a little bit? I think break it down. So what things are, let's say what's abundance for people? Okay, what else? Oh, let's see, I can't see anything. Yeah, hang on. I can't see myself here. Let's zoom. I can't read what number that already is. 254, that's definitely how much we should do, right? That was actually what it was. That did nothing.
Yeah, this is a trade-off that I don't like.
All right. Can you guys probably can't read this one that well either then, huh?
No.
Don't strain your eyes. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to assume that you guys can kind of figure out what's supposed to be there. So, all right. So we think number of students / man hours is abundant. I agree with that. How else would we categorize some things? Anything else that's abundant? Blake? I'm sorry. I don't know that I agree that veterans are abundant. So I think that's an arguable one. I will say that. So I will say that we have a good number of veteran students if you look at maybe the average team. However, I think our veteran students on our team are overwhelmed by non-veteran students. So our ratio is not very good in that regard. So Emma? And you think that's abundance? So I think that's what we were kind of saying is that it's moderate here. Okay, Peter? I mostly agree. I'm only going to do moderate because I think some aspects are less so. We have a lot of students that will do a wide variety of manufacturing and designing. And then we have, I think, a less abundant of that will do our outreach and helping out with like award submissions or things like that. I think that's more moderate. That's true. Okay, so I think that one can go in either. I think it's arguable for either one. I'm going to just overrule and say moderate. Okay. What about mentors with FRC experience? You think that's critical? So that's why we have it broken up into two different things. So I would say that as far as mentors with FRC experience, that's abundant, but student to mentor ratio is critical. Okay, so we'll start with, let's see, mentors with FRC experience. So real quick, how many rookies? If you are a rookie, let's name the mentors that you know. So Emma, what's my name? Okay, that works. Okay, so that's one. Caden? Dr. Myers, Kate? Okay. Okay, so those are student veterans. Adult mentors, Zion? Mr. Sadith, yes. We've got two others in the room. Also, I'm sorry, rookies, not Zion. Emma. Okay, we'll count Mr. Barson here. There's two others still in the room. Ash, Laura, and Abby. I'm sorry? Yeah, Kara. So we're up to 6, so that's pretty good. Okay, you're not a rookie student. Oh, that's true. Cona's a mentor, graduated student by surprise. Okay, so, but of those with that prior FRC experience, we have Kara, me, Laura, and Dr. Myers has been helping out as well with the CNC router. So we've got those 4. Go ahead. Yeah, and so Rich, and I don't know, I'll just tell you guys right now, I have no idea what to expect this year going into with Lucas or On God. So that's 2 that might be kind of iffy. Go ahead, Ty. Kyle is also very iffy. We may not see him hardly at all. We will almost assuredly have Clay, right? I'm sorry? Oh yeah, Mr. Gale. I haven't heard from him recently. Hopefully we see him. Matt? I'm sorry? Yes, I did mention Clay. I'm sorry. Okay, so we do probably have somewhere around 10 mentors, but of those that we can reliably or think will show up to almost every meeting, I don't know what that is. It might be 6, it might be 10, but either way, when we have, I think, 70 or 100 kids showing up, I think that ratio gets to be about 10 to 1, and I would, okay, maybe that's more moderate than critical. I think 5 to 1 is ideal. Like 5 to 1, I can work with 5 students and I can manage that. If I have to work with 10 students, you're not getting my best. And if I have to split my time amongst 10 students, I'm doing as best as I can, but it's not going to be very helpful or as helpful as it could be. There's only 50 people in the room right now. You did a quick count. Did you do a quick count of the people in the room here? So yeah, so I fully anticipate that we're going to have like 60 to 70 people reliably showing up. That is what I expect, at least at the beginning, it's going to happen. So anyways, that was a detour here, but let's, where's my mouse? I did lose it. Okay, whatever, this is fine. All right, so I'm going to say mentor to student ratio. Okay. So I think that covers the people aspect here. Is there anything else that people think we need to break down more with moderate, abundant, or critical for Brian? Rookie? I think I would agree with that. Who thinks veteran to rookie is critical versus moderate? Critical, raise your hand. Moderate, raise your hand. Not a whole lot. Okay, I'm putting it in critical. So I'm going to say, yeah, probably because they're all rookies. Okay, so I'm losing y'all. I'm sorry. All right, money. As a whole, does it fit anywhere specifically? Anybody? I don't tell you guys a whole lot of details on finances. So I'm just going to tell y'all, I feel comfortable putting it in moderate. It's not typically going to be the limiting factor. It's going to be a factor, but it's not typically going to prevent us from trying to build something or being able to go to competition. We're fortunate that most of our team members can cover their own travel and food. And so by you guys doing that, we're able to do that and not have money as a huge issue for us. Brian? Yes. Yeah. For now. Okay. So what about space? Yeah. So space is kind of a tricky one in my mind. In general, I feel like space, we are like a top 5% team in all of FRC for the amount of space that we have. But because of our team size and because I'm determined to leave that full field up all year round, parts of the space, the build space, kind of becomes at least a moderate challenge because the number of students that we have and work going on. All right, which one of you do I need to call first? All right, Peter, go ahead. Okay.
I was going to say we could just put out space is abundant and space person ratio.
I think that's reasonable as well. So I'll say space generally, and then I'll say space to person ratio. And I mean, I don't understand like how Spectrum works. Like their shop is all in a really tiny crammed area. And like, I don't understand how some teams make their space work as well as they do. So I think we can make it work, but we need to learn that. Sam? Yeah, is that critical or moderate? I think it's borderline between critical and moderate. Would anyone want to push for one way versus the other?
Critical.
So I think, yeah, so I would say like existing organization structure for parts/tools. Is that fair? Yeah. Okay, Zion? I think that our networking is actually pretty abundant. The main thing there that we got to make sure is we follow through on our networking so we don't lose it. But in its current state, I'd say our networking is pretty abundant. It could, yeah. You guys hopefully are good stewards of Pearadox on Discord. I don't know how many times I need to search for beater or shoot, I can't even alpha it or whatever. Okay, so yeah, I think I agree with this. Money and space we've gone through. All right, what about resources already in the shop? Some of these might be abundant, some of them might be other things. Where would y'all, anything that needs to be, let's start with, would we generally agree that generally speaking, our resources already in the shop are abundant? Would everybody mostly agree with that? Okay, so if we start with that, so if we want to pull some specific things out to put it in moderate and critical, what are those things that need to be? Peter? Let's say measuring tools that are still together and function. Okay, actually that is something, but that's very specific. Brian? Yeah, moderate or critical? I agree with that. So we can make things work for sure with how things are. It's not going to be a limiting factor. And if people can bring in their own, that'd be great. Sam? Yeah, so I'm almost thinking that might belong in critical personally. And that kind of also fits under the existing organizational structure. Would you agree with that, Sam? Cool, okay, Todd? Yeah, I would agree with that. And that gets into, or since I've got resources already in shop and abundant, I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, so I think generally speaking, we're pretty good with resources already in the shop. And this is going to take my time. I'm going to take a moment here to soapbox and say, students, please help that remain the case. All right. So what that means is taking care of our tools and parts, knowing how to use them, getting help when you don't know how to use them. And it's not guessing like, oh, I think I know how to use this already, I'm fine. It's if you have not actually used it and had a mentor explain to you how to use it, get a mentor or a veteran student to use it. Things will break. If you break something, that's okay. I don't want you to be afraid to come to me and say, hey, I was using this tool and it broke on me. We need to know that so we can replace it. But if we are smart and taking care of our tools, we shouldn't be breaking things a whole bunch. And another big part of it is putting tools away at the end of the meeting or just when you're done using them. It doesn't have to, you don't have to wait until the end of the meeting to realize I'm not going to be using this for a while again. Let's go ahead and get this battery on the charger so somebody else can use it. Or get the drill put away, get the drill bit put away while I remember what size it is and where it goes. So I cannot impress that enough on y'all to please take your time to put things away and take care of our shop, because anything that we lose and we have to go buy more of, it's just taking money away from us. And it makes our lives harder. So yes, okay, that's my soapbox. All right, time. I know we talked about man hours kind of being abundant. I think everybody understands that time is just generally a critical resource, right? Would anybody want to make a pitch for anything other than critical? Brian? Yes. You know what? I'll even, we will make a new category, Brian. I agree. Super critical. Time management. All right. So what does that mean though? Sam? Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Peter. Right. Yep, absolutely. So design within our resources for sure. Anything else anyone wants to add on that? I think another big part of it, I'm going to make a push for it as best as I can, is to use our Trello board. So when you guys are at home, like there's certain things that we can do to plan and prep for the meeting and make sure we know what it is that we're going to go home and or come to the meeting to do. So, you know, there's Onshape things we can do when you're thinking about what it is that we need to do. Like, let's make a list of it so you don't forget it. And we can maintain that on Trello. Because the other thing that's rough is that when when we're in a meeting, I have 10 students come up to me and say, what can I work on? I don't know what to do. Well, when I'm busy and in the moment, I can't go and access that part of my brain that has that list of things already done to do. So anything we can do to help maintain that list of tasks that need to be done and their value so that you can go and find that on your own would be a huge help. Julia, you want to? Yes, that is actually I don't know what I was trying to say there instead of actually, not actually, but that is very true. So just as a reminder for everybody, Pearadox, our order is self, family, school, robotics. All right, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your family things. You got to keep your school grades up. And then all of your remaining free time can be for robots. But really, like, I genuinely mean it. You got to take care of yourself. If it means taking a day off or whatever, that's fine. Sam? Yes, I think Slack use is very important or useful for time management, keeps you up to date so you're not left behind if you have to miss meetings or anything. Brian? Yes, and so the better we are with our time management, hopefully we don't have those gaps, right? We can try to organize things so people can be manufacturing and then other people can be building and not be waiting on certain parts to be manufactured. Hayden? Yes, and I think that goes along with our Trello stuff. So anyways, lots of things about time management. I think that's one of the most important things we could improve on. All right, networking we've already got in abundant. Parents, alumni. I'm going to, anybody have any opinions on where that needs to go? Yeah, I think Yeah, I think I think it's pretty abundant, but it's just a matter of utilize reached out to. Okay. All right. So I think that covers everything. All right. So we've got so supercritical time management. We don't have, we're just not very good at that. We have never, I will tell you guys as a mentor that has been on this team since the beginning, we have never bagged a robot that was complete, and we've never shown up to, and because of that, we have never shown up to a competition, our first competition, with a robot that we know functions. I don't want that to happen again this year. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Ryan, go ahead first. Yeah, that kind of goes, I think, with the time stuff, right? And utilizing off season to train, right? So. But also, I think maybe going in with that is, I don't know if it's, I don't know where this goes with people, but people that effectively know how to use the tools in the shop. So let's talk about that kind of goes with student experience and mentor experience, but I think it's kind of in the critical range of students that know how to use, or people that know how to use our our equipment. That's good, because we definitely have some people that feel comfortable with the lathe and the mill, and a lot of people that don't. Okay, Julia. Yes. I'm sorry, can you repeat that last thing? Yes, and so I think, oh, I guess I can pull that out specifically. Would you say critical or moderate for that? So do you think this year moderate? Do you think that falls under students with FRC experience? Okay, Sam? Yes. Yeah, so let me just repitch that again. If you want to go to competition, I expect you to do a Tiger and spend 5 hours mentoring within the district to make the school better, or to make our feeder programs better. If you don't hit those 5 mentoring hours, you're going to have to be pretty creative in what it is that you're going to do that is of equal value of spending 5 hours mentoring the FTC or FLL team. So if you want to go to competition, you really need to get on that. We've got a document in Slack to sign up, and right. So there's still opportunities. You can reach out to Sam if you need help for that. So if you have not already gotten your 5 hours and you want to be able to go to competition in the spring, reach out to Sam. Peter. Yeah. Okay. So just a real quick answer to that. It used to be in the before times that after 6.5 weeks from kickoff, we had to put our robot in a bag, and then you couldn't touch it again until competition. Bag no longer exists, so we don't need to worry about that this year. And I have I can't believe it's not bag day shirt, but I think it's funny, but okay. All right, so I would like to move on now to actually talking about our team goals and objectives. Is everybody good with that? All right. All right, can you guys read this okay? All right, so let's kind of, I'm not sure what way to start this, so I hope it's not going to be completely wild. I'll start with just kind of have it be open, but let's start with kind of some high level goals of like things along the lines of, actually, maybe let's take 10 minutes, get in groups of no more than 10, and mix up your veterans and rookie students. So I would like y'all to discuss goals of things like, do we want to try to be, you know, ranked 1, 2, 3 at a district event and win the event? Do we want to win chairman's at the district event? Do we want to be a picker versus being picked? Do we want to be a picker versus being picked at district champs, at world champs? Do we want to make it to world champs? Of course, those are all things we want to do, but keeping in mind the resource that we just talked about, get in groups of about 5 to 10 people, make sure you mix up rookies and veterans, and talk about what you think are some good goals for the team as a whole. One last thing real quick, it does need to be measurable. So things like have fun is, as much as that is great and I want us to have fun, that is not the type of goal or objective that we're looking for. So I'm gonna set a timer for about 10 minutes and I'm going to read the chat here. I'm sorry for the students that are away from here.
Hi, Coach.
Yes. Yeah. I think you can make that pitch for it. So you'll just need, I think it does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're good. But I need, okay. Okay, all right, very good.
How's life? Okay. So do y'all want to discuss anything?
I mean, there's a couple basic goals. Like, obviously, we need to actually be good on time up a functional robot. We also need to make sure that both veterans and rookies are able to converse and actually, everyone gets along pretty well. And what else? Right. Honestly, I honestly actually want to try for us to actually try and get the chairman's award this year and actually try to get to states. Those are just like 3 main ideas I got out of my head.
How difficult is it to get chairman?
Definitely easy. We've been fortunate enough to win it a couple times.
Yeah,
Nice.
we have a pretty good chairman's team, so I'm not too worried about getting the chairman's award. I'm just more worried about once we get to if we get to state and worlds level, that's when it actually becomes way more difficult.
Are there any teams that are big threats, I guess?
Yes, definitely. A lot.
Yeah, I think an example would be Spectrum, since they have a pretty good chairman's team. Oh, yeah, is there any questions you want to ask?
Not that I can think off the top of my head.
Alrighty.
Let's see.
So how often do robots cost?
Well, we tried to stay under about $5,000 only.
And that's including sponsors and
Yeah, including everything else, manufacturing, different parts that we use, in the different types of prototypes and designs that we'll go through.
know Jared's a senior, but Braylon, what grade are you in?
Oh, I'm a junior at Turner.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm a freshman at Dawson.
Cool. So, what are you interested in?
Mainly programming. I've started a little bit on it, haven't really fleshed out much.
Is there anything else you want to try?
Maybe CAD and some design.
Yeah, CAD's definitely a good skill to have since we have a lot of great CADers in the team. So you can ask anyone like Jarrett, for instance. There's also Sam, Peter, Ty. Like, there's a lot of people you can ask.
Okay.
All right, as you guys finish up your conversations, have a seat whenever you're ready. Yes. Okay. Is that all right? Absolutely. All right, thanks. All right. Okay, so. Hey, Cody. Thank you. All right. So anybody have a conversation from their groups that they really want to start with as far as some of their what goals? Let's start with, like, obviously your high level goals, and let's keep them as far as like our achievable goals. So at the end of the meeting here, hopefully we'll have, I don't know, about 3 or 4 things, or maybe 2 or 3 at the high level that say these are definitely what we think we can go out and achieve this year. And then maybe a couple of things that are stretch goals out there too. So Sam, you want to start us off? Okay. All right, Zion.
Do you only want goals for those people?
I don't know the answer to that. So I'll say try me, and we'll see. We'll see if so. So Zion, is this at the district level, at the district champs level, at the world champs level? Okay. Hi.
More students involved in outreach, but not only to benefit the team and the community, but to benefit the individuals, make them better students and knowledgeable.
Okay. I'm going to leave it as more students involved in outreach. I can't remember all that you said, but it was all good stuff. Peter. At the world champs, right? Just playing in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hi.
So Matt is tired of being a finalist, so he wants to actually win.
So we'll say So I will say, I think that that is a real thing. And I hope that our upperclassmen, especially our seniors that experienced that and all throughout 2019 and 2020, I hope you can bring some of that like energy of like, no, we understand that little mistakes will make us be a finalist rather than a winner. We need to figure out how to eliminate even the tiny mistakes. So, all right, I think that that's valuable to get, talk about. What else do we want to add in here? Hi.
Make a schedule with set points, but actually follow them.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to add in here, Hayden? Okay, so I'm going to say do everything robot, and we'll talk about what that means in a little bit. Because that's generally a trap, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Hi.
This is just like a personal one, but make sure that team members learn as much as possible, and that can be like defined on asking veterans or using tools or one take learn properly.
I'm going to say knowledge transfer. How's that? Because yes, I think that's very true. We're going to have a lot of people that are rookies, and we need them to feel comfortable stepping into roles this year. Brian. Okay, so I'll say maintain resources. Is that reasonable? Okay. All right, John. I'm sorry, for outreach, what? Okay. Oh, issue 4, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Anything else we want to add in here? Okay, so I'm going to start throwing out some of my thoughts into here as well. Anybody else have anything before I want to add anything? Looks like Julia has something. I'm sorry, what use or I didn't understand the first word. Use 250 hours of. Okay. 250 hours. I think it's related. I'll at least put them together. So formal training program. Okay. Kona? Yeah. So are you saying like utilize Trello? So I'm going to put that under make a schedule. Okay. Anything else that I'm missing here from y'all's conversations? Okay. Yes. I'm going to say gain competition experience or experience related to competition. I'll explain why I have it worded that way. Anything else before I start sharing some thoughts? Okay, Emma. Yeah. Okay, so how can I mentioned that I want things that are concrete and measurable, but I do think that some way of like, it would be good to identify a way that we can say, are we building that safe and inclusive environment? Because I think if we're building a safe and inclusive environment, hopefully y'all are depending on each other, making friends with each other. Would you agree with that? I just don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, team bonding and all that would go in there. So the only way I can think of to have that as a measurable outcome is to do some kind of like pre and post survey of the team of like, do you feel like the team's a safe and inclusive environment, or a couple of questions in there. Does that seem reasonable? Okay, so I'm going to add a goal in here of post season survey about team culture and inclusiveness. Is that reasonable? Is that going to meet? Okay. Brian? Yes. All right. At district level. What about our chairman's girls up there? Is that enough of a goal for you? At district level, or do we have a goal of district champs again? And I'm not making your goal for you. It needs to be your goal. But is the goal for our chairman's team, chairman's at district champs, 3rd year in a row? All right. We're going for the 3-peat. All right. Just for our rookies on the team, we won district at the district chairman's at, chairman's at the district champs level in both 2020 and 2021. And we're only one of 2 teams that have won it 2 years in a row. It's us and 2468. So that's some really awesome company to be in there. So anything else? Okay, are you trying to say incentivize scouting? Okay. Okay. We're skipping past this. Okay, so I'm losing y'all. I'd like y'all back. All right. So I've been putting some thought into what I think our build season looks like, and I'm happy to see that I think some of these things in here that y'all have discussed and identifying with the resources, I think kind of go along with some of those things. So I'm going to make some proposals to y'all, and I would like y'all's feedback on it. So, and I'll write this down here in just a minute. But when we talk about, wanting to be able to do knowledge transfer, gain competition experience or experience related to the competitions, trying to be event winners and going back to the sustainability aspects of it, and some kind of formal training program, I'm going to propose that with the number of students that we have and with the resources that we have, that we build 4 robots this year. So let me continue on here. I'm going to propose that we have our freshmen build an EveryBot, and the freshmen are the ones that work on that EveryBot. So all the freshmen that are coming in, you'll be able to get your hands-on experience with that. And it's not a high pressure situation. It's not going to be overwhelming you with new information or anything like that. I also think that we have our sophomores build an EveryBot. And the reason for that is because our second year team members build an EveryBot. You guys didn't get that hands-on experience as much as we would have liked last year. I want that sophomore bot, or whatever we want to call it, the other EveryBot. I want it to be competition ready. I want you guys to maintain it and treat it as if that is the robot that is going to competition. I want it to be ready to roll, because it might have to be. So I really and truly want our second year team members, even though I know we have some second year team members that are 100% capable of contributing in very meaningful ways to what we would consider our practice and comp bot. I want you guys to focus on making that one competition ready and really being like the chief engineer of it. You guys work that out. We can start figuring out how we might modify it to improve it. If we look at like last year's EveryBot, maybe we figure out how do we add a color wheel mechanism to it? How do we improve the climber for it or something like that? And so I think that we have our second year team members work on a EveryBot for that. And then our juniors and seniors, I would like y'all to, unless you want to choose to work on the competition EveryBot, would be the juniors and seniors would split practice bot and comp bot. So that may sound like a lot. It's really not that different than what we did in 2020, other than the fact that we only built one EveryBot and we only got to one bot in 2020, but that was more because the competition season was cut short. All right, so I see that we've got thoughts and conversation. So I'm going to start with Kate. So we are limited on time, but I think this comes down to the people, right? So we can split the work because we've got a large team. And so this would be our freshmen working on, go ahead, Kate. So we are going to meet typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays. And so I think if we just do what we typically have done in the past, it would mean that our freshmen and sophomore would not get the experience of building the robot that they normally would. So I think our team is so large that we need to split that work up. So it is a valid concern about the time. And there are some resources that do become a little bit more strained in that situation if we look at the mentors. But from the student perspective, I think it's a huge increase for the students. We'll go with Zion next. We made 2 bots last year, or in 2020, but that season was also cut short. Yeah, so I understand so I will say that from a financial aspect of it, since I know our finances and every bots are about $1,000 more or less to build, building 2 every bots from a money perspective is not an issue. We spend way more on our building for the competition and practice robot. So valid concern, but I don't think we need to worry about that aspect of it. Sam, I'll make my way to you guys, just so you don't know.
Experience what the students do have to make a full company of all the practice, all the training, all the training, and all the stuff.
So your concern is that you don't think the juniors and seniors will have enough experience and enough people to do the practice and comp bot with just a junior and do it well?
I think there's a good experience.
Right. Oh, so that's what I was mentioning, is that we definitely have some second-year team members that I know would absolutely be able to contribute meaningfully to the practice and comp bot. So, but I want them to be able to focus on being the chief and lead of the every bot and get that experience there, so that our juniors and seniors that are going to be chief and lead of the practice and comp bot do that. So we get more people with more experience. Does that make sense in that type of capacity? Yeah, okay, Brian. It is important for the programmers more than anyone else. Having a practice bot for the programmers means that the practice robot gets driven, like we just drive that into until the wheels fall off, while the programmers can actually develop the autonomous on the competition robot and have those things working simultaneously. So, but otherwise, practice robot is less important, I think, than building up 2 every bots that are freshmen, in my opinion, than the freshmen and sophomores getting the experience on competition bot. Peter.
But I think that if we were to do a comp bot in the practice bot, I would rather see those built in parallel instead of one after the other, because I think that if we build one and then work on that, we don't have time to build the second one.
Yeah.
So I want to see those built.
Yeah, so I do agree with you on that. I think it's not quite in parallel, but in sync. So just like a half step behind or something like that. So we get the base together, we feel comfortable with it, then we start getting the intake on while we manufacture the competition base or whatever, things like that. I agree. Ty?
So I think we're pretty experienced, but my problem is that with every bot, you don't learn as much as the design aspect, more just like building and manufacturing. And so I think once the students are working on that, move up to the bigger robots in the future years, we're gonna have like a void of knowledge kind of in that area. I also think that logically it wouldn't make sense for me to be for this plan, because my freshman year, I think I gained a lot of experience working on the intake for combat. And so I think that that really made my knowledge and like who I am and how I would benefit the students.
Yeah, so I think that is 2 valid concerns there. So I'll talk about both of them. And so for your first one, I already forget what it was. Oh yeah, the design aspect. So I think there's 2 things to consider there. We'll have about a week where everybody will be prototyping, because every bot doesn't come out for like a week or whatever, right? So I think that during that time, there's a good amount of time where our rookies and everything will get some experience of what it is to try to design something or prototype something. I would hope that we would need to be more dependent on our off-season training for design stuff. But to your second point about, yes, as a freshman, you got that experience as an intake with your intake. But I think that was also because we were very freshman heavy then, or I don't know, rookie heavy. I don't know. We didn't have a whole lot of veteran students doing stuff. I think as we continue to grow the way that we have, rookies are going to be, our freshmen and sophomore are going to have a hard time getting in to get the kind of experience you did as a freshman. That makes sense? So maybe this year, that might not be true. It might be that freshman and sophomore this year, because our juniors and seniors might be a little light on experience, it might be that they would be able to get some of that experience. But I think this would be a good trial year for us to do that and set that up for success. So that's my thought there. I'll work my way backwards. Peter? Yeah, I think that's a good point to add on there, that we want to set up our first and second year students for success, and reducing some of the workload of what's expected from them might lead to more success for them as well. Joan? Yeah, so just to remind people, a big reason why we started doing EveryBot is so that we had students that would be able to help other teams with EveryBots at competition. And oftentimes they'll end up on our alliance, so that if we have our very capable second year students that I know could do anything on the team, if they're EveryBot experts because they helped build one and got it competition ready, they know how to go, they know what pitfalls to look for or ways to really strengthen our potential alliance members. So that is a really strong point. Thank you, Joan. Matt, I'm sorry, I'll make my way to you next, Brian. Yeah, so that's a great point. And I think that that's going to be true regardless of if we do EveryBots or not, because we just have so many people working, whether it's for prototypes and we're only doing one robot or we're building 4 robots. I think we will run into an issue like that where we get limited on throughput of a particular machine. So I think that that is very true, but I think it's true regardless of what we do, in my opinion. But we can come back and talk to that some more. Brian?
There's like a manual, right? So other constructions.
So we can actually program EveryBot however we want. So I think we would just do it with our Java command-based programming, or we could even do time-based depending on what our experience is for the new programming students that are coming in. I think actually programming is a really big reason to do more EveryBot, so more students can get that experience of programming and understanding the whole thing without having to do PID loops or super complex autonomous modes or anything like that. But they can get that there if they're able to. But yeah, I don't think we would do what they have for programming for EveryBot. That's very true. Sam?
There are 12, 3rd, and 4th year students that have been actively participating in the campus that we're working on.
Oh, well, and that are in the room currently. Yes. No, I think we have about 30 30 to 40 that are juniors and seniors that I think it's at least 30. If I would have to go back and look at the list. I think the thing to keep in mind is that a lot of times there's people that we don't see in the off season that we can depend on still during the spring season. So like, for instance, and for anyone that's online, I'm not trying to call anyone out. Oh, I'm sorry, Jared. I see Jared's got some. So,
Coach,
so Jared's
was
on.
coach.
Here, I've got you muted. Let me unmute.
Wait,
Jared.
coach. I
Yeah.
was gonna be there today, but my brother got COVID. But I'm
Oh, no.
negative. But I'm negative, so I'm just here. But I was going to be there. I'm sad.
I'm sorry, Jared. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's some students that, you know, we haven't seen for a while because of band or other things. So like, we haven't, this is the first time I've seen Joran in a while, but I think that we could depend on Joran for the build season, and Ryan and Jared and some other seniors that we just haven't seen as much recently. So, but I mean, I think that that would be an important poll to do, is to go and talk to our juniors and seniors and figure out who's going to be around in the spring, and are they on board with this? Do they think between, you know, the 30 of y'all or whatever, you can get it done? Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. We can always adapt and, you know, adapt and overcome for sure. Yes, I think that's very true. Zion? Okay, and yeah, so I'm not trying to make anyone make a decision on this necessarily right now. I can definitely feel that there's some hesitancy about it. So I want y'all to think about it. We'll come back and address the concerns. I think Sam's point is very good. I should have a conversation with the juniors and seniors and make sure that as juniors and seniors, as our third and fourth year members, that you guys feel comfortable with it. And I think, in my opinion, I think will give everybody the most experience. Everybody will be able to more likely get hands-on experience with building the robot and set us up better to make up for the last year and a half that people haven't been able to really come in and work in the room. So something to consider there. We'll come back to that. The other thing that I was going to suggest is that I think by week 2, we have a base together. So it may not be the final design of the base. We may need to adjust some dimensions or something like that. But I think by the end of week 2, even ideally, even like 1 weekend instead of 2 weeks, but I'll willingly extend it to week 2. So we can build field modules or whatever. And we build up, you know, everything else on that. And then once we figure out, okay, we actually need a cutout or we need to change the dimensions, I think we can go and build a new base much quicker than we can wait until everybody's finalized their design of how it goes on the base. Because I think we can make that work. I see some daggers being shot at me, but Ty.
I think it's a good idea, but my point to me is what I'm doing on that base.
Yes, yeah. So that's not the competition robot. I'm not even sure that that's the practice robot base. And so we match drill. We match drill on that base as needed. We figure out how things go. We can bolt it. We don't even need to rivet it together, right? So we could bolt the gussets together, take it apart to be able to drill things in. Peter, go ahead.
Bolt pattern on the base.
Yeah.
Do bolt pattern on the base. No match drill, no nothing. What if you have something weird, like we're thinking point something like that?
I mean, design within our resources, right? We could use the Vex Pro rail so that all those holes are pre-drilled in, and we can make that base work for an extended period of time. And then if we figure out, no, we really need something else special and different, like we figure that stuff out, and then we go and build those rails. But that way we can try to get something together driving and working and practicing. Because I think going along with like having something functioning by week 5 or 5 weeks into kickoff, after kickoff, that's really important. And I think getting a base with some electronics on it that we can move around as needed and build up around it would really help us out with that. Also, just as a FYI for y'all, we are still going to do an open house, and that's going to be week 0, which is 2 weeks before our first competition. So whatever March 11th minus 2 weeks is, it's the end of February, like February 25th or 26th. So it would be really embarrassing to have our inspection perfection open house event and not have a functioning robot again. All right, Brian. So we could absolutely use the kit apart space. I have no major objection to using the kit apart space. I think because of the number of students that we have and the prior experience that we have, that we are fully capable of doing, other types of bases. I wouldn't want to go swerve drive until we've done that in the off season. And we've actually gotten, driving and programming time on it. But I think that there are some advantages to the type of base that we have been doing. And I think we've got enough experience with it that I don't think we gain any more time back necessarily by doing a kit apart space. So just something for there. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts? I've enjoyed this conversation. I've really enjoyed seeing you guys not like my idea and tell me why. So I appreciate everybody's input here. I'm going to keep trying to convince y'all that we should do 2 every bots and 2 practice and comp bot. And I'm also going to, I know, especially for the second year team members, if you want to come and talk to me, if you're really not liking that idea, we can have conversations about that, because I can understand, but I do think that it is the best experience that you can get, so you can be set up to take on those roles junior and senior year. Okay, so let's highlight, or maybe, I don't know, is there anything else we should add to this? I'm going to add driving base by week 2. All right. So what do we want to say are our achievable goals? Driving base by week 2. What else should we add here? I think, yeah, district chairmans. And so I do want to add on here too. Part of the reason that we set these goals is because even if we don't achieve necessarily that goal, hopefully we achieve something else along the way, right? So when we are striving and saying that we are trying to achieve chairmans, maybe we don't end up with chairmans, but maybe we end up with EI or the judges award. Also, all the things that we do for chairmans is an impact in our community. It might help us get sponsorships. It might help us get new mentors. So I think it is an important goal for our team that we want to try to win chairmans. And I would like to make sure, actually, I should back up one step further. Just the purpose of setting these goals is so that as a team, when we're doing something, we really can say, hey, what you're doing right now, is that helping us achieve one of our goals? When we see the new game come out and we think, oh man, swerve drive, that's what we need to do. We have to have swerve drive, right? And then we look here and we say, we want a driving base by week 2. We're gonna say, oh, you know what? No, that doesn't help us achieve our goal. We're not doing swerve drive this year. We need to do that in the off season so we could do that in the future. Or, we start looking at, I don't know, whatever else, other things that come up that distract us. We come back to our goals and say, does this help us win district chairman's event? Does this help us, be an event winner or whatever? Sam. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It's that we want to have a robot done by the time we go to competition, and then not, you don't feel the rush, you don't feel like you need it done, you don't know what you've done.
Right.
And I think we're looking at kickoff to make more of the goal based on, okay, this thing, this subsystem, at this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, Sam. Brian. Okay, so yeah, and so I want to, okay, this is where I want to have a real conversation about it, because I think that we do need to discuss this as a team. Are we feeling like we are going to say we are setting out to be the event winner, or are we setting out that we, want to make a deep run in playoffs? We want to, and I guess, yeah. So, yeah, and so, but what does that mean, right? So if we come back here and we say we want to win the event versus we want to, be picked high or seed high or something like that, there's a difference there. And what is that difference? If anybody can read my mind, Sam.
You have to be very, very good.
Yes, I think just maybe worded slightly different. You're absolutely correct. Peter?
We have to support our alliance through things like the equity box, the alternative robot that's equity box, to be able to help them through the operations.
Yes, that's also true. Not one of the two things that's in my head that I'm looking for. Matt. So what goes into the reliability? Okay, yes, I'm gonna, we'll see if Mentor Kona can get it. Yeah, so it does go along with the design. I'm going to just kind of skip ahead and say what it is, because, and we'll come back to you, Brian, afterwards if there's something you want to add. So to me, if we say we want to be the event winner, there's two things that we need to do. We need basically like ultra preparation, right? Because it goes into the reliability that you guys were talking about. And like we need to be at the robot together early. We need to practice a ton. We need to make sure that everybody knows their role and is fulfilling that role. And basically 0 mistakes, right? Like if we make a mistake somewhere, there's a high probability we're not going to end up winning the event. The other thing that I think goes into being an event winner is we need to basically accept that we're going to have to do everything. So 2020 is, I think, the year that we've been closest to doing quote unquote everything. We didn't do the color wheel, but when you look at the game analysis there, that wasn't really an everything required for the district. And I will kind of go back to our 2019 year. We had a bunch of freshmen come in and we had very few upperclassmen. And so at 2019, we said that we wanted to, we specifically said our goal was we were only doing the low goal stuff. We weren't worried about doing the whole rocket. We didn't want to have to build tall for an elevator or anything like that. And 2019 ended up being one of our most successful years, even though it was frustrating that we were finalists so many times instead of event winners. I think we were very close to being event winners numerous times. We lost to Robonauts by like 2 points. And that was either us pushing a ball through that knocked the hatch panel out or our partner falling off the level 2 thing. So we can absolutely be an event winner with not doing everything. But we need to decide, like, are we going to do everything bot, or do we, with our resources in mind, do we not do everything? So I don't know whose hand I saw. I didn't know Brian had his hand up for a while.
I was going to say, we might need to get picked by 118 to become.
No, we can beat them. We almost beat them straight up in 2019, right? But that was all like that. We were the alliance captain. We picked another team, and it's not like our team that we picked was way better than us. We were both very good teams, and we were both against a very good 118 and 231. So we can absolutely beat 118. I would love to beat them. I'm also okay if they pick us or we pick them. But what's that? Yeah, I know that one day we will beat them, or we'll pick them and win with them, or they'll pick us and win with us. That's fine. But that's not going to be the only way that we win is being aligned with them, Peter. Yes, because you are correct. We could be the event winner and be the 24th best robot picked in the playoffs. I would like to think that we're not going that route, but yeah. Ty?
I think instead of saying under achievable goals, I was saying we just break down what goals we have to take.
I like that. Okay, so yeah, so some of the conversation, do we want to say right now that with the resources we have, we think we are a do everything robot? Is that a yes? Is it a no? Okay, we will admitting that. Go ahead, Kara. Right, I know that's what Ty's saying. So, but I'm saying, like, I think it's sometimes easy, I feel like we should be able to say with our resources, do we think, generally speaking, that it is a wise idea to just say that we're going to try to do everything because everything that we think is valuable for winning an event, or are we going to be a role-playing alliance member?
I think it's possible for
Yeah. Okay, Peter. No, I think Buddy Climb was doing everything. Right.
I agree.
Okay. Well, so I will say I don't think that we should go in planning to do everything, but obviously, I guess it is very true that we would have to reevaluate when the game comes out. but okay, Blake. Right, so that's where I'm kind of saying, do we do a role, or we're trying to fill a role, or versus do everything? But maybe I'm taking us off track. Joan. Yes. Okay, so I mean, I agree with everything everyone is saying, and I'm just trying to get us to focus on what is. Go ahead.
I think something really important is effective programming, so doing really enough time and a good drive practice.
Yeah.
But also, it's 10 minutes until we kind of
Right.
go, so really enough time.
Yeah, let's wrap it up here. Okay, so we'll kind of just do some things with a show of hands here for kind of a just a gut feel, and then if anybody's really opposed to what I'm putting down, we'll holler out. So, do we specifically want to say that we want to come home as a district event winner this year? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to write down district event winner. Do we want to say that we are coming home as district event winner as either a captain or first pick? Yes. Okay. So I care because like is our goal that we want to seed high, right? Or we want to make sure that we're not, I don't know how to say what it is that I'm trying to say there. All right, so do we want to say that we are district champs event winner? Yes. Okay, I think I'm generally on the same boat that we have a little bit of rebuilding to do this year before we are trying to do that. Do we want to say district champs, alliance captain, or first pick? Yes. That's kind of okay. That's wrong enough. Okay, this is for any of our students that know any different, just pretend that this is a normal year. Do we want to say that we want to be qualifying for the world champs? Yes. Okay. Playoffs and world champs. We'll just say playoffs and world champs. Yes. Iffy. All right, just to see where the line is, how many people think that we should be a alliance captain or first pick for world champs? Yes. Okay, so that's totally fair. That's kind of where I want to know, because when we come to kickoff and we start analyzing the game, we're going to say that we want to analyze the game in the mindset that we want to be a captain or first pick and win a district event, or we want to be a captain or first pick at district champs level. But we recognize that it may not be enough to be a captain or first pick at world champs with the caliber of teams that we would expect to see there. Matt. Yes, and so that's where I'm kind of saying like ignoring, just pretend like it's a normal year, because there's a chance that the qualification process for world champs is going to be totally different. I have no idea how they're going to do world champs right now. So we will just pretend like it's the same for right now. Okay. Do we want to add or modify anything about chairmans? Are we saying district champs chairmans here as our achievable goal? Is that a stretch goal? Right. So would you guys say that district chairmans is an achievable goal for us? I feel like that's a very achievable goal for us. Do we say that district champs chairmans is a stretch goal or achievable? Yeah, it's hard, right? Okay. I think that's very fair. Yeah. Okay. So, and yeah, so I'm just going to add in here knowledge transfer as an achievable goal. If anything's not in here, it doesn't mean that it's not achievable. It's just, I'm going to highlight just, I think the top things for here as for what our team goals are for going into the year. All right, does anybody have any objections or think that anything's missing or too much as far as what our team goals are here? Like, yeah, so I think, I don't know, you only win one. We could say district chairman's at one and district EI at the other is what our goals are. That would certainly be nice because if we win district champs EI, that would pay for world champs. So I like that. I'm going to just add that up here. I'll let others just talk that more later.
I think what you said previously is like, if you don't necessarily achieve the goal, but you get something on the way to getting that goal.
Right.
So if you say district champ EI, but the district champ chairman, that includes EI or in the past.
Yeah, I think you're very true there. Brian? Oh, yes.
It has to be achievable.
I'm going to say functional robot by open house. So obviously, I think we push for week 5. If it happens week 6, that's okay. But I think that obviously the sooner we get, and I don't know, there's varying degrees of functional robot, right? Like there's functional enough for programmers to test things out, to build up programming, to score a game piece. And then there's like, okay, we think we're ready to go into a match now. So I think there's some variety there. All right, anything else we need to close with here? Mentors, anything I'm missing or? Laura? Okay, all right, so I will be sure to post these documents on Slack. I appreciate everybody's time. I will ask for a little bit of help. We're going to go back through and go back to the robotics room. Don't go out the front door, go out through the robotics room. If I can get a little bit of help getting some things down there. If anybody has questions, concerns, obviously send me Slack. But thank you guys very much. Thanks y'all. Sorry I didn't do a great job of trying to incorporate y'all. But I appreciate you guys tying in.
That's fine.
Yes. Thanks, y'all. I'm gonna log off since I won't be able to hear you. I'm gonna leave it up though, so if any of y'all want to talk anything more, feel free.